name is Kitty McGowan. I'm the president of the U.S. Superyacht Association, and it gives me tremendous pleasure to introduce some dear friends of many years that are very excitingly putting together a program, have already done it. We've tried it, we've tested it, we've proven it, to make make programs available to our member businesses that would normally not be available to smaller companies, or it would take so much time, energy, and money to make it happen that it would be out of reach. So as an association benefit, the most important thing that our association is continually working to try and develop and bring to the table are programs and services that matter, and things that make their jobs easier, or that they can educate their employees in a different way. And so I'm very excited to introduce Kelly Spencer and Lisa Samuels, but from a company, T. Spencer Samuels, Insurance and Financial Services. And with that, I'm going to turn this over to Kelly, who's going to kind of get going there, and then we'll keep coming back. And as people have questions, we'll just go for it from there. And in the meantime, this is being recorded, so everybody on the call understands that we are recording this this series. It will be housed on our U.S. Superyacht Facebook, on our YouTube channel, and will also be simultaneously included on our post on the Superyacht Radio Yachtcast site as well, for in perpetuity. So Kelly, take it away.
Good morning, everybody. So I'm Kelly Spencer. Behind me is Lisa Spencer. She's the other part. I've been in the group benefits, insurance, and investment industry for about 21 years. Really, really excited when I met up with Lisa about 8 years ago, and she got me very involved in the marine industry. I love your industry. I think it's a very unique industry. I think that on the insurance and investment side, you guys are underserved, which is why Lisa and I really started to approach the associations to make sure that they knew that they could offer you guys, companies and individuals within the marine associations, such a unique benefit that you guys would otherwise sometimes not have available to you, or not know you have available to you. We have been working with Kitty for over the last 2 years to have this platform directed towards you guys. We wanted to make sure the platform was easy to use, that we were able to get all the benefits that you were looking for, that it was cost effective, and that not only you as employers, but your employees were able to navigate through it easily. We made sure we had all the appropriate carriers and coverages. So that was a huge endeavor. Took about 2 years. We went live in January. And now that all the sites are live, now it's just a matter of letting everybody know they're there. This is a huge added benefit that they're offering through the association. This gives you guys the opportunity to buy into products that you might otherwise not have the opportunity to buy into. Because that your industry, a lot of the positions and the SIC codes, you guys know that from your workers' comp, right? That infamous SIC code that kind of hinders you from buying into competitive markets when it comes to insurances. So because it's a group platform, we're able to offer certain benefits that might not be competitive on an individual basis at a company level or an individual level. So I'm going to do mostly interactive. The first thing we're going to really approach is that this is a member benefit. So as long as you are a member of the U.S. Superyacht Association, all of these benefits are available to you. This is a way for U.S. Superyacht to add value to your membership. It's such an important aspect, and they have been working very, very diligently with us over a 2-year period to add as much value to their membership as they can. So this is just a testimonial to them. So the first thing I'm going to show you is how do you find out information on these benefits? So the easiest way to do it is, I'm going to share the screen with you guys, is you're just going to go to the actual U.S. Superyacht Association website. Can everybody see that? Just thumbs up? Okay, so great. So when you're at the main website for the U.S. Superyacht Association, you'll see kind of this screen that kind of flows in between different topics. And then you'll see health and employee benefits for USSA members, okay? So that is the first benefit. We're gonna start with that one. And then I'm gonna scroll down and I'm gonna show you additional benefit, which is the multiple employer 401k plan that is also offered through your association at a very competitive rate for your company, okay? So when you go to the 401k, you're just gonna kind of scroll down the page, okay, and keep going. And then you're gonna see US Superyacht offers a retirement solution. So then you just click on this link and it will take you to all the information associated with the 401k plan, okay? So Lisa and I have discovered the best way to really show you guys how these benefits work is just to make it interactive. So I'm gonna actually take you into the system and I'm gonna show you. So you're just gonna click learn more, okay? Now, T. Spencer Samuels is a strategic partner with the association. So even though it says T. Spencer Samuels, this is an association benefit. And at some point, it's going to ask you what association that you are a member of, and that's how we differentiate the benefits that are being offered to you. You can see up at the top, you'll see all different types of benefits that you're able to do a little research on. So you have the group products. Group products are the products that you're able to acquire as a company. So whether it's group health, dental, vision, pet insurance, I mean, anything that can be placed in a group product is being offered through the association, okay? And you have dedicated support, dedicated compliance, and with the group product, if you are a member of the association, you will also get complimentary an HR portal for your company to use at no cost. The HR portal is set up to where you can do all of your administration online for your employees. So you can do your open enrollment, all your W-4s, your I-9s, your employee handbook, all of that is being offered to you through the association complimentary. These are platforms that through the payroll companies are very, very costly. And usually they require you as an employer to set it up. As a member of the association, Lisa and I set up the entire platform for you. Every employee will have access to their online portal for their benefit summaries, their ID cards, and all the information associated with the benefits that you're giving to them. It's a huge added value. Lisa and I added this about 2 years ago. It's very convenient right now. It just happens to be that we're in a pandemic. So more and more of these companies are very, very excited that they're able to do all of this HR online. They don't have to have, you don't have to be in person to do this. Very important to employees. Employees want access to their benefits online. If they are at the doctor's and forget their ID cards, they want a copy. This, no matter how many products you have, the portal allows you to incorporate all of your benefits into one login for your employee. And then as the administrator, you can log in to do any of the compliance. This is all a custom portal that is designed specifically for your company. And we brand the entire portal in your company logo. So huge benefit. That is all the group products that you can buy through the association. Again, you're gonna see, if you have interest in the group products, the only thing you have to do is just click get started. Because we can't quote the actual group products online, that is the only thing you're not gonna be able to get price points for. So when you click on the get started, you're going to just kind of give us very, very generic information on what you're looking for, your desired, how many employees you have. It's going to take you through this whole engine, and then it's going to send an email directly to Lisa and I so that we're able to get you that information that you need. We are
Kelly,
not, yes.
Kelly, can I interrupt for one
Sure.
quick second? Are there minimums of employees that they have to enroll? And do they have to enroll every one of their employees to participate?
No, actually, depending on the carrier, which is where your professional comes into place, okay, your broker, every carrier has different requirements for participation. We do groups down to 2, okay? Now, obviously, the more you have, 2 means you have 2 employees, you and another employee, okay? So that's the minimum for a group, okay? The participation is gonna be dependent on which carrier you choose, but we do have carriers like Humana that there's no participation requirement. So you can have 12 employees and only 2 participate, and it's completely fine. Then you have Blue Cross, Blue Cross requires 50%. So this is where you really need a professional to make sure that they're guiding you in the right direction, what carriers are going to be most advantageous, because every company has specific needs. And those are the kind of things that we're going to discuss, at our initial meeting, and just say, hey, how many people, a lot of times we'll do an employee questionnaire. So if you're a company that has no benefits currently and you're looking to extend your benefits, we're going to send a questionnaire to your employees on what they're looking for in their employee benefit and whether or not they would be willing to participate based on the price line. And what that does is it gives the employer an idea of what their participation is going to be and what benefits their employees are really looking for. Are they worried about deductibles? Maybe not. Maybe they just want co-pays for primary and specialists. This way we understand what the employee is looking for, which is really, really important for employee retention. We want to make sure that if you're going to spend the money to offer the benefit, you want to make sure it's a benefit that your employees are excited about and that your key employees are going to be staying in place because you're offering the benefit that they're looking for. They're not moving to your competitor if they're happy with their benefits. Employment is benefit driven right now. It really is. When you're looking for your key people, they're looking for benefits. Okay.
And in that group policy, is it a guarantee issue product?
So there's no pre-existing conditions on a group policy. You could literally hire someone that's pregnant, covers pregnancy. You can hire someone who's actively in cancer treatment. The ACA federal guidelines that came out about 5 or 6 years ago require that no pre-existing conditions. So there will be no exclusions to your policies. Everything has to be covered as long as you're enrolled within a certain period of time of being hired for employment. So that's never going to be a question on whether it'll be covered or not. And then we custom develop your benefits for your employees. If we have a group of 10 employees and they're all 21-year-old guys, we're not looking at super low deductibles maybe, and we're putting in strategies where there's multiple plans to choose from. So it really is a very boutique kind of firm that we run. We want to make sure that every employer has a plan that is in place that is specific to their company. It's going to really vary very differently from company to company based on the demographic of your group. Okay, so this is why when we're doing the group products that we're going to ask you basic questions, and then it's going to send us an email, because then I can kind of see where you're at and what direction we need to go into. It's a very kind of specialized service that you get through the association. Okay. Okay. So we actually, we are contracted with all the major carriers, guys. Cigna, Blue Cross, Humana, AvMed, what did I miss? Aetna. So if it's a major health carrier in this state, we are going to be offering it. And keep in mind, this is not just for Florida. You can offer, we can service any company anywhere in the United States of America. Okay. And why is that important? Because there's different insurance carriers that are contracted in different states, but Lisa and I are licensed. We're able to do that for you. So do not be scared of the fact that maybe you're not a company in Florida. That's not a problem at all. We work across, and all of these benefits are going to be good all the way across the United States. This is not going to be state specific. Okay.
Can I ask you, Kelly, in this crazy COVID world, how is COVID considered under the healthcare, under a healthcare insurance policy? Is there any differentiation on that, or?
No. So, as of right now, because you have to understand, we're in an ever-changing environment right now. So policies come down frequently. But one of the main policies for COVID is that it is a mandated coverage. When you're looking at ACA, people call it Obamacare. ACA is the actual correct terminology for it. Those are all federal mandates. So it's not a state specific. So the federal government comes down and says, insurance carriers by law have to cover these items. COVID is now one of those items. So the testing has to be covered at 100%, not even a copay. Okay, your treatment for COVID, whether it is inpatient or outpatient, it's covered, it waives your deductible. There is literally no cost associated, and the insurance carriers are required by law to cover these. Now, if you're a group with us and through the association, you're going to have all of this information, because not only are we sending out, if you're with Humana Every group with Humana got the COVID guidelines for Humana from us. And then we uploaded it to the portal for your employees as well. So it's a constant communication from us. We are a very hands-on firm. As soon as we get that information, you have it in your hands and your employees have it on their portal. So there's never going to be a time when you're not going to be updated. Simple things like Humana Dental came through last year and said, we're going to cover 3 dental cleanings instead of 2. Again, employers sent an update and then it's updated on the portal so employees have those notifications. So it's just, I think the most important thing about health coverage is educating your people on how to use the coverage, customizing the plan so the employer is, it's affordable and they're getting the coverage for their employees that they're really looking for. I go into employers all the time where they have these super rich plans and low participation because they don't have, let's say, they have 1 plan, they really should have 3 because they have different tiered paid employees. So you have employees that make a little less, somebody's in the middle, and somebody's in the high. So you have to have a benefit that is offered for every tier employee that you have. There's not a lot of restrictions on the number of plans. And administratively, it doesn't really take much to administer more than 1 plan. And Lisa and I do all the administration anyway. So
that's a great value that is to our members, that they are able to say, hey, and incent their employees to maybe get up to the next level so that it might be an added benefit to them individually to kick up to the next level of healthcare coverage or other types of products that you're going to, I'm sure, talk about here as well. So
yeah, so I think where we fall short in the broker industry is educating our members, educating them on how to use their coverage, how to get the most out of their coverage. Even like some of the carriers are incentivize people for their physical. So like Humana gives up to a 17% discount if you can encourage your employees to do an online questionnaire. So, I mean, there's a lot of ways to save money in healthcare. You just have to have a broker that's really hands-on to make sure that you're taking advantage of all the programs. Okay, so I don't want to stay too long on any one topic because you guys are more than happy to follow up with us afterwards. And I want to make sure that we have time to get through everything. So this is going to be our, this is going to be the group products, okay? Okay, so here, group ancillary. Let me explain to you kind of what ancillary is. Okay, so ancillary is kind of anything outside of basic health insurance. So you have dental, vision, long and short term, accidental death and dismemberment, term life, life lock. I mean, there's pet insurance. There's a lot of benefits you can offer to your employee. Keep in mind, a lot of these benefits as an employer, you're not even paying towards these. You're just offering it and payroll deducting it for them. Okay, but employees love to see, you know, they open up that online portal and they see 12 benefits offered by the employer. They're low cost, they're cost-effective benefits. The employer doesn't contribute, but they can't buy these products, a good benefit for these products on the individual market. So even though you're not contributing as an employer, it's a huge benefit to them because they otherwise really can't get really good coverage. So being able to buy it at a group level is huge. So this is just an administrative task, and Lisa and I settle that up for you. So you don't have to worry about it. It's just a matter of saying, we'd like to offer this to our employees, okay? So that's kind of group ancillary. So we're gonna move on to, let's say that you have a small company or you have employees or you're a member of the association and you're not interested in group products. That's totally fine. We also have an array of individual products that you're able to look through: the medical, the dental, the vision, the accident policies, the cancer policies. All of these are going to be offered to you through this platform, okay? And it's all gonna be on this website. So what I'm gonna do is I'm kind of just gonna do a mock-up quote for you guys. Because health insurance and different benefits are zip code specific, the first thing it's gonna ask you for is your zip code. And what does that do? Blue Cross Blue Anthem is a Blue Cross plan, but it's offered in California and not in Florida. So what this does is giving your zip code is only going to, when you're doing the quoting engine on this website, it's only going to pick up the products, the plans, and the insurance carriers that are available in your specific zip code, okay? So it's going to alleviate all of those companies and plans that maybe cannot be offered to you because they're not offered in that state or zip code. So it just kind of—
healthcare, unlike some things, healthcare is a state-driven. Every state manages their healthcare policies, programs, what their
Correct.
plans are,
And what
individually by
carriers.
state, what carriers
Correct.
are allowed to operate within,
Mhm.
et cetera, which is why if you're listening and you're saying, well, wait a second, my friend who's my exact same age lives in Georgia and their premium is way different than my premium living here in South Florida. That's
Correct.
all driven by the state and the mix of the demographics of those states and et cetera. So those are the different aspects there. I just wanted to add into people that don't necessarily understand that. They say, why do I have to give my zip code? What difference does it make? It's really about my age and sex and, you know, et cetera. But it really does matter.
It's kind of like your car insurance. Your car insurance goes actually down to your individual zip code because it's dependent on. So I just want to kind of give a brief. So there's federal requirements, which is all your federal, like what insurance carriers are federally required to cover on all policies. But the actual policies and the companies that are offered are state specific. So your home zip code is going to be very, very important. We absolutely have to have that because I don't want to enroll you in a plan you can't use. Okay, so you can see here that these are the different policies. So you have individual and family plans, or let's say that you're on your employer's health insurance, but you can't afford to put your kids on because it's too costly. Or like me, I like to have a lower deductible for my children and a higher deductible for me because I have 2 sons and they're accident prone. So what I do is I buy myself a policy and then I put them on what's called a child only policy. This allows me to get a lower deductible for the kids and maybe a little better coverage for my little accident prone teenagers. So that is an option. So if you're offered employer coverage and you already have your health insurance covered, but you need to offer it for your children, this is a great option for you because you can actually purchase their coverage through this platform offered by the association. So that's the first thing you're going to do is put in your zip code. Then you're just going to put in basic information. You know, this is, you know, the same information you would do if you were, so you're going to put that in. Then you're going to choose who you want to cover. So here I'm just going to cover myself. So I'm going to click out of those that I don't need by just clicking that red X. That just alleviates the dependence on it. Now, this is my favorite part of this portal, guys. You do not ever, if you have employees that are purchasing through the health.gov website, you can tell your employees they do not have to do that. They can come through the association website because this portal allows you to buy either direct with the carriers, which is the health off exchange. That's if you want to buy direct with Blue Cross, you don't qualify for a subsidy or any of that. That is that. But if you do qualify for a subsidy or you have a person that's in your company who is on individual coverage, that's you can actually do on exchange as well. Okay, and on exchange basically bypasses that healthcare.gov nightmare website and allows you to do the exchange policy, but on this portal. Okay, it's just a lot easier to navigate. You also have the option of what's called short-term health on this policy. Short-term health is such a great tool for people who are in transition. So let's say you have an employee who you're hiring, but they're on a waiting period. So they have like a 90-day wait before they can start on your employer benefits. They can go on a 3-month short-term policy through the association website, and it covers them just for that short-term period until they're eligible to go on. The short-term medical can be purchased anywhere from 1 day to 364 days, just shy of 1 year, 1 day shy of 1 year. This really allows employees or just alternative coverages for people. You can choose your own deductible, your own copays, you customize your plan. The premiums are going to be driven obviously by your benefit. I usually do a lot of hands-on navigation on this specific one because short-term medical is a little different, and so sometimes people don't understand how it's written. So we're always here for that. Okay. Okay, so you also
hey Kelly, just real quick on the short-term medical, I just want to jump in on that one. For those people that are struggling, now I know this has always been a membership type program, but it's say somebody got furloughed from a job and they're looking to fill a gap. Is this something now, granted,
this is a
we use this as a membership benefit, but as I'm saying, for the people that are on here that are listening that might have to furlough some of their employees.
This is a great option.
That's what I was getting at.
Yes, because, and let me tell you why, because a furloughed employee is technically still a member of the association, because a furlough is a promise of return of employment versus a termination, which is not. So
Correct.
Technically, when you furlough an employee, you're saying we're putting a pause on your employment. So technically, it's just pause. So you're not, you're actually still members at that point.
Right.
You're not non-members until they're actually physically terminated from the company, who is the member of the association. Okay, right. So a furlough is a perfect situation. So let's say you needed a furlough employee and they're going to be furloughed for 2 or 3 months. The coverage as an employer, sometimes when they're furloughed, then the employee has to pay that full coverage, or they have to COBRA, and that's where the cost starts to go up significantly. And yes, someone who's out of work maybe can't afford that. So you can direct them to this member site. They can call Lisa and I. We're more than happy to help them. We love doing this stuff. And we can help navigate them into a short-term policy, because they can buy it on them, you know, employee and spouse, right, employee and children, or family. And they can pick and choose who they want to cover.
And their benefit levels. I was just saying, as another right, option, you know, keeping in mind where the world is right now with regards to COVID, a short-term medical policy wasn't necessarily something a year ago that somebody may have ever thought about. So
right. It's actually becoming more and more prevalent in the industry, because people used to just decide that they're not going to COBRA and then they'll just go through their first 90 days without health coverage. People are very wary about not having health coverage now because the cost of care is so high. So if something happens in that 90 days while they're waiting for health coverage, it can bankrupt you. So I think short-term medical has become very, very prevalent, because people are more aware of the high cost of healthcare and they're uncomfortable with not having it. It is a very cost-effective way to get them through till they're eligible for the next coverage. Or let's say that an individual decided that they didn't want to buy health insurance, and now with all this COVID stuff, they want to have a major medical, but they can't afford like a full major medical. So maybe they want to jump on a short-term policy. Again, this is a good option. Okay. So you can actually also put in what your current health premium is, or if you want to stay within a range, you have a certain budget that you want to stay in, you can put that in and it'll remember it. It's remember my quote information, so you don't have to keep, you know, hold on, let me just, okay, so that's fine. I forgot to put in my date of birth. Okay, so really all it needs is your first name, your relationship with yourself, your gender, your date of birth, your zip code, and whether or not you smoke. So you don't have to put anything in for tobacco unless you've recently quit smoking. Okay, so we're going to run this just generically, health off exchange, and we're going to click continue. And what this is doing is taking the zip code, and it's pulling all the policies that are available within that zip code, all the carriers and policies for all of it. So your medical, your dental, your vision, your accident, your cancer, your guaranteed life insurance, lots and lots of stuff here. So it does take about a minute and a half, because keep in mind, it's pulling an enormous amount of information through the quoting system. But then once it pops up, you'll be able to see kind of what it looks like. Okay, so here we are. So this allows you to compare all the different plans. Now you can see here, you're quoting the off-exchange health insurance, okay, which is just direct with carriers. Then you have your short-term medical, your dental, your vision, your accident, your critical illness, your auxiliary, and your cancer plans, okay? So the way that this works is you can kind of just create what you're looking for. Now, this is where Lisa and I sometimes really, really come into play, because some people just don't know what they're looking for. They don't understand how the insurance works. They kind of know what kind of coverage they need, but they don't really understand how to get to that coverage. Okay, so here is the medical tiers are just coverage tiers. Okay, so bronze is going to be your higher deductibles, higher out of pocket on the medical costs. And as you go up to silver, gold, and platinum, your premiums are going to go up, but your out of pocket cost as a member goes down. Okay, what I like about these ranges is it really allows you to pick what price point that you're really looking at. And what it does is it starts to narrow down that search. so you're not going through hundreds and hundreds of plans, okay? So now I know that my price range is between $350 and $894. It's only going to show me the 26 plans that are within my budget, okay? You can also do the category of deductible. So if you want a no deductible plan, there's none in that category, obviously. So let's see, I don't want anything more than a $5,000 deductible, so I click there. And what it does is, so you can see that the silver changed from 26 to 8. This allows you to try to narrow down how many plans you're looking at, so that you kind of like funnel yourself into the plan that is affordable and going to be the best for you or your family. Here you can see EPO or HMO. EPO is, a lot of that is just, it has, some of the plans will have an out-of-network benefit, which a lot of people look for, okay? Maybe they're uncomfortable with HMOs. So now we're down to 7 plans. So now we can go in here and say, okay, these are all of the different carriers and plans that are available, okay, through this portal. Now, guys, this pulls, what this does, it pulls all the carriers. So when you're shopping for health insurance, instead of having to go to the Blue Cross site or the Oscar site or the Bright Health site, it's going to pull them all into one easy to read benefit outline, okay? What you can do here is you can compare the plans. So let's say I want to see the difference between this plan, come on, this plan, there you go, my little mouse wasn't working, and this plan, and let's say this plan, okay? All right, so then I'm going to just click compare. It's gonna load those for me. Okay, voila. Now you can see all of your plans side by side, okay? What does this allow you to do? Well, that way you don't have to click on every single benefit summary. You're gonna look for the things that are most important to you for health coverage. You're gonna look at your deductibles, your co-pays, you know, what your labs cost, what your prescription coverage is, okay? This is where you're gonna find the loopholes. So let's say that you might not have noticed that the preferred brand drugs are deductible and co-insurance. You're not comfortable with that, okay? So maybe you're gonna lean more towards Cigna or Oscar. This is a great tool. Very important that you look at your benefits side by side, because this is really gonna allow you to make sure that you're getting into the right benefit for you, yourself and your family. One of the other things
because it's really fun when you go to collect your benefits and they say, oh, that'll be $5,000, and you're, but wait, I have health insurance.
I know,
but you
right?
didn't read the fine print.
So guys, do the compare, because there's so many contract differences in these policies, and unless you see them side by side, they're very hard to catch, okay? It's really kind of how your eye is drawn to the policies. One of the things that you can do too is it has a find a doctor. So if you click on find a doctor, hold on just a second. So, and you put in, let's see, you put in your doctor's name. Hold on, I'm going to try to put in my doctor's name. All right, let's just, all right, so let's just click one. Okay. Okay. Okay, so then you're going to click shop plans. Oops, sorry, wrong thing, got me out of it. Basically, you're going to add your doctor in here. And then if you wanted to narrow it down by if your doctor is covered under the plans, it'll also narrow it down that way too. So let's say you decided that this is the plan for you, blue options, okay? You're like, wait a minute, I need to make sure my doctor's on it. It's going to take you to find a doctor at Blue Cross. So you can verify whether or not your doctor's on this plan. There's lots of different tools on this, on these policies that you can kind of look into, okay? So I don't want to take too much time, so I'm just going to kind of go through it. So let's say you decide that you want this plan, you're going to add it to your cart, kind of like shopping on Amazon. We've all become professional Amazon shoppers. And then that is done. Now what happens is every time you do add to cart, it's pulling all the required forms that you need to fill out at the very end, okay? From each of the carriers. So this one's gonna pull the Oscar forms. You're gonna fill in all this stuff at the very end. You're gonna electronically sign and you're gonna submit, okay? You're gonna go through all the different carriers that you want. So let's go to, okay. So let's go to dental plans. Okay, you're like, okay, I want a dental plan for myself or my family. It's gonna take you through, again, it's gonna take you through all the different dental plans in your zip code. Now, I put in my zip code, guys, and I just want you to know that some things don't come up in my zip code because I live in the country, in the middle of nowhere. So I probably should have put in a Fort Lauderdale zip code. Is probably more advantageous. But what this does is, again, this allows you to kind of compare the different plans. Okay, so let's say you want to compare these two plans. You're going to click compare. It's going to pull up the comparison between the two dental plans so you can see them eye by eye, or eye by eye, but side by side. And then also what it does is you can also do find a doctor here. So you can actually go in and you can find a dentist to make sure your dentist is covered. Okay, and then on the side here, you'll see these are the two companies that are offered in my zip code. Again, I don't have a great zip code because I'm not in a highly populated area. The more populated area that you're in, the more policies are going to pull. Okay, so you know, if you're in an area like Fort Lauderdale or Washington, Seattle, and the higher concentrated areas, there's more and more policies that are going to come into play. So all of these are going to give you, so you can see here that these are PPOs, okay? Now, when you go into what's a PPO, what's an HMO, all of that, those are all questions why Lisa and I are here, okay? If you're on here and you're like, I don't understand, what's the difference between the PPO and the HMO dental? We're gonna have there's a way for you just to send us a message and you're gonna say, hey, what's up? I don't understand this. Again, you're just gonna click add to cart. Now at the very end, when you're doing your applications and stuff, guys, it's gonna ask you who you want to enroll. So like, let's say that you're gonna do health for you, but you want dental for your family. It's gonna get to that, okay? So these are all the different benefits that you are offered. So you have the dental, this is the short-term medical. These don't pull up because of my zip code, guys, I apologize. Accident plans, so accident plans are, I want you to think of some of these as like an AFLAC, okay? So like critical illness and accident, those are, it covers certain like critical illnesses that you might have. This will cover you and your family for any accidents, broken arms, anything like that.
And that's not just, it's not just medical coverage, that's that, like you said, an
so this
AFLAC
is
thing where they pay you, you cash if you're not able to go to work.
So all of those benefits are going to be benefits, anything outside of your health, your short-term, your dental, and your vision. These are all benefits that pay directly to you, okay? These are benefits, so auxiliary is going to be your life and your disability, and then you have your cancer policies, okay? I could go through every single one of these policies. I don't want to keep you on here that long. When you start to get into these policies and you're like, I just don't understand the difference, I encourage you to pick up the phone. This is what we're here for. We have 27 people that we have set up on this line. So when you call in, there's always going to be someone who can answer questions associated with these benefits. So when we set up this platform, we made sure we had the infrastructure to when you call into the number, you are able to get a live person without hitting 1, 2, 3, 8, 10 that will pick up the phone and you can say, I'm here. I need to understand the differences between these plans before I continue.
And what is co-insurance and what is that? And someone can explain and demystify those things.
Exactly. You can see here, it says call this number, right? Or you can click to schedule an appointment with the benefit counselor. Okay. So you can literally set up a time. I can't do this right now. You can set up a time where they'll call you to go over all the things in your cart to make sure that that's the right choice for you. It's a great advantage. If you're the type of person who has a lot of employees, or maybe you were on healthcare.gov, if you've ever tried to call healthcare.gov and ask them questions about your benefits, God bless you, because I can tell you it's not easy. These are licensed and appointed people who know benefits, okay? You're not going to call them 3 times to get 3 different answers. They're very well trained. So if
And
you
then
have
when healthcare.gov then changes your benefits in the middle and
right,
doesn't tell you,
yes,
then it's really fun. But
yeah. So
and
this,
so that's why I just want to state how important it is from the membership standpoint, is that we didn't jump as an association, we didn't jump into this relationship with Kelly and Lisa and T. Spencer Samuels very quickly. I mean, we spent a lot of time researching and interviewing and speaking with lots of different groups, so that when our members, I felt comfortable sending people to them, knowing that they not only are just delightful people to work with, but knowledgeable on such a wide range of different topics, and with the most best intentions for our members, and the ability to provide our members with the best products and services for them at the best, most competitive price. And so that is where I really defined you guys outside of so many others. And as an association, that was important to me when we offered this service to them. So, I mean, healthcare, disability, try and run a business in the boating industry and get short-term disability. It's like nearly impossible. And through this kind of group, with dealing with these guys, it's just, they make everything so seamless and so simple. And now adding this portal, it's just even over the top, icing on that cake. But so as we're getting down to the, towards the end here, and I want to leave some time for questions. Kelly, are you able to address some of the other types of other outside of just the medical side of our benefits, and as the membership side, some of the more fiscally related types of programs and services that we can at least touch on before we end up having to wrap up?
Right. So this is the benefit side. So we're pretty much done with the benefits. If you have additional questions, should I go individual? Should I go group? Back and forth. If you have those type of questions, we want you to call Lisa and I. If you're swaying in between the individual and group, if you already know you're doing individual and you need assistance, because we want to make sure that you guys get your calls answered. Lisa and I cannot call. It's physically impossible, which is why we set up the back end line with professionals. That's where you're going to click the 800 number or the benefit counselor. So we're finished with that part of it. One of the additional benefits that you guys have, like we spoke of before, is going to be the 401k platform. Kitty, is that where you were talking about? Just shake your head. Okay, great. Okay, it's hard for me not to talk a gazillion years on this stuff because I'm pretty passionate about it. Hold on. And
that's what we love about you guys. It's fantastic.
So
because as a small business owner, trying to provide, first, unravel all of these programs. Second of all, understand all the different nuances about it. And as we know that a good majority of our members are, fewer than 20 employees, and, you don't have a dedicated HR trained person that can handle all the very specific things. Specifically, when you get into these financial types of tools, there are some very distinct and very important processes that must be followed, or you get yourself into some serious trouble
with the
government. And so that's where, to me, being able to offer these types of programs for you guys is just an even added benefit to our membership.
Absolutely. And we're really excited about it. We're very passionate about what we do. Okay, so now we're going to go into, if you remember, we went to the USSA Superyacht. This is their website. So you're just going to go down to the bottom to find your 401k information. Okay, right here is your retirement solution. So you're just going to click on this. Okay, now, keep in mind, 401ks is very company specific. So I'm going to go briefly on how this is set up. Multiple employer plans are set up so that small, medium, and large companies can take advantage of low price points. Because what happens is, if you're a company under 100 employees and you don't have a 401k, it is very costly and price adverse for you to start a 401k. What this does is it says that even though each company has their own 401k, whereas it's under your company name, your tax ID, you create it, you customize it, we help you administer it. But any asset that is in that 401k is pooled with all the other companies so that you guys as companies get a huge discount on all those administration costs that otherwise would be too high for you to be able to participate in these programs. This price point is, let's say, the price points that you guys are getting are price points for companies that have like $2 or $3 million worth of assets in their 401k that have been established for 5 or 6 years. That's not a good majority of the companies that we're dealing with. A lot of the companies are startups. So the way we did it is that we made it very cost effective for the startup plans, and for the employers who have current 401ks, we can almost wipe out all of the administration costs by doing the 401k as a member of the association. So
that's the power. That's the power of the association.
So the power is the power of numbers. So whether you are a 4-person company who wants to offer 401k, or you're a 50-person company that has a current $4 million 401k, the price points are amazing. If you're the company that already has one, you're moving your 401k and you're wiping out all your admin costs. All of them, almost all of them. You know, the good majority of your admin costs, okay? If you're a startup company.
And you're also shifting the fiduciary responsibility from that company and taking away that extra level of liability and moving that as well, because that can be a very heavy, massive burden if you don't really understand.
Correct. So I'm going to briefly go over that. So as part of Transamerica, which is the company who does the investments, they record keeper, and then we have Tag Resources, and Tag Resources does all the administration. They hold what's called a 338 and a 316. Please correct me if I get this wrong.
You are correct.
What the 338 and 316 does is it removes all of the fiduciary responsibility as the employer away from you, and it puts it on the third-party administrator. It is such a huge benefit to this platform because as the employer, you have to do what's called a 5500 filing with the federal government. Because you're not the acting fiduciary, you don't even sign your own 5500s. So an employee gets upset about their 401k and it's underperforming, or you terminate them and they're looking for a way just to kind of, the employer, you do not end up in litigation over your 401k, okay? Because you're not the fiduciary on your 401k. You're the employer, everything's set up on your tax ID, but you're outsourcing that liability, okay? And let me tell you, it is a liability you want to outsource. Tag Resources is amazing. Other than uploading your payroll files and monitoring Tag, which is just the emails that go back and forth, and providing a year-end data for your testing, everything is done by the third-party administrator, okay? You can see here, with our 401k platform, this is what you're responsible for as an employer. Without a third party, a strong third party, these on the left are all the things that employers are responsible for. The things on the left is what keeps employers from offering 401ks to their employees. If you don't have a full-time human resource person, you do not have the time to do all of these different things, okay? And even if you do have the time, it's a huge waste of time and resources for your company. Lisa and I, kind of our tagline is, when you do business with us, through the association, between the benefits and the benefits portal and the tag and the 401k, you're outsourcing all of your administration duties because businesses need to focus on revenue producing activities. Administering a 401k and administering your benefits does not generate revenues for your company. It is the best way to outsource those items, have the professionals deal with it, have your staff doing things that generate revenue, okay? Because the more revenue you make, the more benefits you can offer, better employee retention due to those benefits. It's kind of an upward swing, okay? So if I have any recommendation to any employers out there is outsource these things, okay? It doesn't cost you any more to outsource your benefits administration. It doesn't cost you 1 penny more to use our portal and to outsource your admin to us and through the 401k, through the association, than what you're currently doing now if you have these in place. We have a
Well, let
current
me, wait, let me correct that real quickly here.
I'm sorry.
It doesn't cost them more through this program with you, because I can tell you, and having done the research, that if I went through my payroll processing company that was doing that, and I wanted to shift some of these things to them, the fees through those types of companies that to handle and take off what you have on the screen, all of those things without tag, and to move them over here, we could be tens of thousands of dollars a year in added fees to the small business. So that is like what I didn't mean to jump in on you there,
You're
but
fine. You're fine.
underselling is that's the added, that's a huge benefit of coming in. That's your membership benefit. That's what, through an association like this, has been able to negotiate through through the numbers of a group, that we're able to provide this without the paychecks. And I'm sorry, paychecks, if you're
no, actually, I was just gonna mention paychecks. So we did an analysis because we were kind of curious in the beginning of the program, and so one of our companies, we asked them to get a quote. So what they were going to do is they're going to do all of their HR portal, which is their online enrollment, their administration, their onboarding, which is hiring new people, their COBRA, all of their 401ks. It was $16,000.
Yes.
Okay,
right.
That didn't include their payroll. That was just all the added things.
All of this.
To add to the payroll. It was $16,000, guys. So Lisa and I and Kitty, we absorb all the costs associated with all of these portals and access to all of this online efficiency for you. We actually assume those costs, which is why we're able to offer it to everybody complimentary through the association, because we it's not free. It's just, it's not, the cost isn't flowing over into your pocketbook. So.
Right.
But it's fine because we feel like it's such a huge added value, and it's just the way of the world now, okay? Years away from no one wanting to do anything outside of online, okay? So, we're just trying to be really proactive. Kitty did a lot of due diligence. I mean, she put us through the ringer. No kidding. No, but we had.
It's true though. But
right, it's been 2 years in the making, and then about 1 year worth of meetings, making sure that we were hitting every aspect of what she was looking for. She needed it to be perfect. She needed it to be perfect out the door. We did lots of modifications. And it was great because it helped us grow as a company, and it helped us customize this platform for all the members too. So we're really, really happy. It's ever evolving. So anything that we find is not as efficient as we'd like it to be, it's ever evolving. We're trying to improve it every day, obviously, but I think the base is good. I think the base right now is really good.
The base is fantastic, and good knows. I mean, when we started 2020 and we were launching this piece, the portal piece and the healthcare piece that we had spent, 6-8 months developing all the pieces of it. And I thought, oh, this is great, because if we all remember 6 months ago, the unemployment rate was, and by all intents and purposes, at full employment. And so how did you manage to keep employees? It was by further incenting them, providing added value so that you could essentially lure away people from other companies by adding benefits and value to your company so that you can differentiate yourself. Well, now fast forward through something that all of us keep wanting to wake up from and think that it was the last couple months was just a really bad dream.
Right.
And here we are in a new world, but yet we still do have to differentiate ourselves from a company perspective. But now becomes where it's even more critical today to look at things from a cost effectiveness approach, from the ability to manage your employees with, like you're saying, remotely, so that if you have people working from home, by empowering your employees to manage a lot of their own details, and tying in through everything. I mean, it's like the fact that you guys, I mean, it was almost, beyond brilliant that we had kind of started this before. Like we knew something was crazy coming.
Yeah, I was.
And here we are, and it's already kicking.
I know.
So now it's just about getting it out there, and
Right.
and there's so much more. We could talk for many hours about all the tremendous things and the fantastic work that both Kelly and Lisa have done, and the time they have spent in educating me, and I've taken, you know, a lot of their time, and a lot of our members, and we do already have members, I know, participating in some of these programs to begin with. And we'll be talking about a lot of these things more going forward as we go through. I mean, we're approaching the hour mark, and I didn't know if there was anybody on the call. For those of you that are on the call, we are recording this call, and as I mentioned at the start of the hour, excuse me, at the start of the hour, that it will be placed on our US Superyacht Association YouTube site, linked through our page, as well as the Yachtcast link through Superyacht Radio. So we're trying to make sure that it's accessible to you at any time, as well as through the US Superyacht Association website. You can reach Kelly Spencer or Lisa Samuels. And as I know them both personally for a long period of time, I mean, you know, even if you chose, and I'm not saying that you would or should decide not to go with our program, there have been times that I've talked to them and they say, well, what we offer is not a good fit for what they need. Correct. And that's the thing that I admire about a good business person. And I'm happy and proud to have them as our partner with both our health and disability and financial options to provide these benefits and services to the US Superyacht Association membership. So if I didn't know, I don't see anybody's hand up for questions at this point. I do want to say that from the association, from a benefit side, you know, normally we offer, you know, in a normal world, we would be having events and networking opportunities. And Diane Byrne, who I know is on this call, who is our educational chair, has done a fantastic job of including and creating and taking our annual summit that we've done for the last 7 years in Palm Beach and bit it into little pieces. And we've been providing the same tremendous content and relevant information to the not just members, and we've made it complimentary in the short term so that we can bring value and continue to provide benefits and services to them. And if the next week from our summer of enlightenment, as I was calling it, because I was like, say, you know, we got to put a nice positive spin on it. It's the summer of enlightenment. Our next week's webinar at 11:30 is going to be Revolutionize Your Customer Experience, the luxury leaders. So there are luxury leaders that are sharing their insight. We have Edelweiss Harrison from Capstone, Michelle Gamble from Private Jet Service, Neil Bateman from Cooks and Adventures, and Doug Golan from DG American Experiences. I mean, these are just the starts, and we've been having these weekly. We are going to take a break here for a little bit, and as you know, people are kind of trying to have some times. I'm excited that boating has really exploded, and people understand that being on a yacht and being out on boating is a great way to socially distance with your family. And so we encourage you all to be safe. On Fridays, if you have an opportunity, the US Superyacht Association is on superyachtradio.com every Friday at 11 a.m. live, and then multiple times thereafter on recorded. Tomorrow, I'm excited, Duncan Smith, who from the Duncan, are you still on? From the Smith Advisory Group, and Patience Khan from the Marine Industries Association of South Florida will be on, and we're going to be talking about U.S. entry for yacht crew, as well as what's kind of happening in Washington these days. I do see a question. If everyone in the office is an independent contractor, can they still sign up as a group? That's a great question, Madeline.
Yes, that actually is a really great question. So let me answer that. So in the aspect of a 1099, the way that it works for 1099, which is an independent contractor, okay? So the way it works for 1099 is if you wanted to create a group, there's a little question, a little questionnaire that you have to kind of complete that lets us know that your company needs to be the main kind of company that they work for. So a certain percentage of the business they do needs to be through you, like you're the main person. 1099 requirements is just, if you're going to offer 1099 employees, you have to offer to all of them. You can't discriminate. Now, it does have a minimum number of hours, so you don't have to, if you're 1099 someone for 1 hour, obviously you're not offering them into the group, okay? But yes, we can work with independent contractors that are part of a group to create a group for benefits. That is possible, absolutely.
My only question on that would be, having dealt with this myself, where there are some very strict guidelines from the individual states as to what maintains that person as an independent contractor and not an actual employee. Correct. And because then the state is missing out, so is the Fed, on depending on certain states, if they have state income tax and federal income tax and unemployment compensation. So some of those things might vary by state, I think.
It does
and
vary
what are
by
the thresholds of independent contractors? So.
Right. So what I do is I usually determine what state they're in, and then I send them like a small questionnaire. Not every employee needs to fill out the questionnaire. I need to go to the main person who is initiating the request, and they can determine whether or not they think they're going to meet the certain parameters based on what state they're in. But I can say I've worked in multiple states for many, many years. And so there are certain states that are a little bit more restrictive than others, but I can tell you, like in Florida, most of the guidelines are if the certain percentage of the work is done and you're offering it to all 1099, then now this is not something that's been around forever. This is something relatively new over the last few years. So if you tried doing this, 6 or 7 years ago, it probably didn't work, but it's an ever-changing industry. So we try to stay up to date with everything. We're able to answer any questions that's specific to your state and your company. So that was one of the things I wanted to kind of touch on too, is that when you go into, like, obviously we're in the 401k part right now, but like if you needed to contact us, you can fill this out and it just shoots us an email, gives us your basic information so we can actually contact you, okay? Obviously, our contact information is up here as well. I believe our contact information is also on the US Superyacht, Kitty?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So, and then you can always call somebody at US Superyacht. I mean, I'm pretty sure we're in everybody's phone, so.
Yes, we all have our phone. Wait, I don't leave home without it. It's kind of like my American Express card.
So we're really easy to get a hold of, but if it's something like just a quick question that you have and you're like, don't want to get stuck on the phone with me because I am kind of a talker, you can shoot us an email. I'm kind of friendly, like, hey, how are the kids? Yeah, I mean, I do, okay.
How are the dogs? How are the chickens? Because now, of course, Kelly's now started a farm. And the TV show is soon to come, I'm sure.
I have a YouTube channel, Spencer Farm. So Spencer Farm Family, yeah. So anyway, it's been fun, but it's, how we're using up all of our time at home right now. But yeah, so we're pretty easy to get a hold of, but if you don't want to get stuck on the phone with me, you have a quick question, our emails are right here. Just kind of, I think you can even click, no, you're not. No. So just, those are our emails, just shoot us a question. We're more than happy. We're not a hard sale, guys. We're not gonna robocall you. If we answer your question and then we'll come back and say, hey, let us know if you're interested in anything. We're not putting you on a call list that calls you every day. Not gonna happen from us. We don't believe in that. It drives us nuts. We're not gonna do it. So if you want information, we're not going to hound you, but please, please reach out to us. We're more than happy to answer any questions that you have.
One last question, Kelly, having to say with regards to independent contractors. I'm an independent contractor company. I have my own company. I am me, myself, and I. And we have a lot of fun talking to each other some days more than others. But I am me, myself, and I. Getting a group policy is not possible because you needed two, even though the myself and I part are my invisible friends. But am I still able to get coverage through this policy as my company is a member of US Superyacht Association, my company being Nauticom Communications? Am I able to secure a policy through you guys, even though it would not be considered a group policy?
Yes. Yes. So this is open to all numbers. So one of the things that was what took us the longest, actually, Kitty, when we were working with you, is making sure that all of the benefits were like benefits, regardless of whether you were individual or group. And that's actually not that easy to do when you're working with states. So
there are some differences in the coverages because of it not being a group versus an individual policy.
So I can't guarantee that you're going to have 42 vision plans no matter where you live. Some areas are going to have 2, some are going to have 40, depending on where you live. It's just the demographic. But we wanted to make sure we took like every SIC code and almost all the zip codes associated with most of the states to make sure we fed it through a program to make sure that it would spit out enough benefits to justify having this huge platform, and it did. So the infrastructure on that side was very thorough to make sure that we weren't going to exclude like entire states or entire SIC codes into the benefit.
No, well, that's great. You guys have been amazing. Again, thank you all so much for joining us today. USSuperyacht.com. You can there's several links on the page to both Kelly and Lisa for T. Spencer Samuels and the multiple benefits that you get from being a member of the US Superyacht. We thank you all so much for joining us today. And if you have any questions, go to USSuperyacht.com. And thank you again. Have a great day. And Kelly and Lisa, much applause to you. And we look forward to doing much more business together in the future. All right, guys. Thanks again. Take care.